Hi everybody, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you today. And we're going to be making these 3x3 note cards, or you could maybe use them as gift tags or just little cute embellishments for bags or tags when you're giving a gift. They don't mail so well, you have to put them in a bigger envelope, so the 3x3 size is really better for hand delivering. So, that being said, I'm going to use the new On to Adventure stamp set. It's got the happy retirement phrase in there, so it's kind of for that gifting idea for those of us who are lucky enough to retire. Not me yet, but someday. So I'm going to go ahead and put together these 4 cards for you and go through a couple different techniques as I go. So I hope you enjoy. And remember, you can subscribe to my blog, pumpkinhillstampers.com. And not only will this video tutorial be posted there, but I will have the link for you to go to my library tutorial and you can purchase the PDF tutorial that'll have all the measurements and the different tips and tricks on there for you to complete these cards yourself. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with these 2 guys up here because they're the simple ones. So let me move these aside. And before I do that, I want to go through one more time how we mount cling stamps. So cling stamps is the majority of what we have in the catalog now. So when you get your cling stamps, you're going to go ahead and pull off the backing on your stamp, and then you've got the labels. Okay, this one is the congratulations stamp. So I go over here and I'm going to pull off the split backing on my label. Then I take my stamp itself, and with the rubber showing to me, I'm going to put it down on top of that label, kind of like a puzzle piece. So I'm just going to position that into the space that I revealed by taking off the label and then press it down. And then I can just pull that up and the label is attached. And that label's not going to peel off, okay? Really not going to peel off. That's the idea. And now it's going to stick to my block. Okay, and when I stamp it, doesn't matter if I wiggle it, jiggle it, rub it, it's not going to fall off. Okay, so there's my thing in there. Now I'm going to show you one more. So here's another stamp that I have not mounted yet, so there's no label on there, right? And see how easy that pulled off? And I put that on there and I can stamp, but sometimes when we clean them, they pop off, right? So that's not so good. So again, one more time, let's put the label on. So I'm going to peel the backer. Okay, the backing is split. The one that's split is the one you do first. Then I put in my rubber stamp. Okay, I'm going to make it match the way it looks. I'm going to scoot that over and press it down. And then I'm going to peel it off. I put it on my block. And now, no matter how much I rub that, it's not coming off. Okay? Alright, good. So just a quick review on how to mount those cling stamps. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get started. So I decided I was going to stamp with Memento ink. 1, it's a good black ink. 2, I thought I might be using my blend marker, so in case I did, I wanted to make sure I had the proper ink down. So we're going to go ahead and make this fancy lady here. So I'm stamping her on my card, and I didn't stamp her center. I kind of wanted her offset a little bit. So I've got her offset. And then I'm going to mount this on a piece of 3x3 Mango Melody. So obviously I've cut that size of the card down a little bit so we get that framing. So to keep it kind of festive, I'm going to use my Mango Melody ink, and I'm going to stamp underneath her, "Congratulations on your next adventure." So I'm just going to position this, and I can see right through my stamp. I can see the label. I know it's the right way. It's not upside down, and I just position that and give it a stamp. Okay? Then on the inside of this one, I'm going to stamp "Wishing you everything wonderful." Okay, so now our stamping is done. We can go ahead and use our snail. Go ahead and move this ink out of the way. We're going to use our snail. We're going to put snail on the back side of our card. Fold it up. Center it on our 3x3 backer. Okay, and that one is put together. We just have to color it. So keeping with the color, I'm using the Mango Melody marker, and I'm just going to color in her dress, right? So I'm keeping it simple with my colors. I'm just keeping them so that they're pretty much a coordinate. I'm going to do her hat this color. Okay, and I'm going to shade the darker section of the hat as well. And I'm going to do her glasses. Got to have some pop of color on there too, right? Love the shape of those glasses on that image. Okay, then I'm going to come in with Poppy Parade. Now, part of the reason I'm decided to use Poppy Parade is I'm using it on the next card, so it was on the table. But Mango Melody and Poppy Parade are very nice complementary colors. So I'm coloring her handbag, her suitcase. I'm going to color the flower on her hat. And the little band on her hat too. I'll flip this over and use the fine point end for that skinny little bit in there. Now, I could leave it like that, but I decided I didn't really want white hair and white skin, so this is where I brought in my blends. I'm going to use the Ivory blend to shade her arms and face. This way she'll really pop off the Whisper White card that she's stamped on. Okay, and then I went ahead and used Pineapple Punch for her hair. And there we go. So now if I just take my bone folder and give that a nice firm crease, she'll stay closed better too. Okay, so there's that, and then let's go ahead and stamp that same sentiment here, wishing you everything wonderful. And there we go, we've got our first card made. Okay, now let's move on to this fun guy, right? He really looks like he's ready to go on an adventure for his retirement. This time, like I said, I'm using Poppy Parade, and I'm going to do the same idea, there's just a little bit difference. So first I'm going to stamp "Congratulations on your next adventure," and I'm going to stamp that in Poppy Parade, and I'm going to do it right at the top of my card. So right at the top. Now I'm going to stamp him in Memento underneath. And I want him pretty close to those words, so get right up there close. Alright, now I've got space here on the bottom for Happy Retirement. So let me find Happy Retirement, okay? And I can stamp him right here on the bottom, underneath his feet. Okay, now, you might notice I've got these little strips. When I made this first one, I didn't like my lineup, so I cut a little shorter than 1/2 inch deep by the same width of my card, and then I stamped it, and then I just put it right over the top. So if you mess up, just put another piece right on top, and it's not going to be a big deal. Alright, so he's all stamped. Let's go ahead and put him on the card. Press him down. We don't want to rub over our ink. Now on the inside I left this one blank. Okay, so you've got a little more room in there for words. So here we go. We're going to use the same colors. This time I started by coloring the flowers on his shirt. Now my husband loves Hawaiian shirts, so this will definitely be getting a chuckle in my stamp room when it goes on display, because he is all about the wild shirts. So now I'm going to pick up that same color in the glasses, right? I want to keep with my color, keep it simple. Some color on those frames. I added a stripe onto his hat, and I did the shorts. Okay, so Nice base color of that Poppy Parade kind of all around. Then I came in with the Mango Melody because, like I said, they coordinate really nicely. And I did his shirt. Get right in there close to those flowers. Come around. Now I omitted coloring the camera. I kind of like the idea of that being black and white. Of course, if you want to add color to it, it's your card. Make it your way. Now I'm going to come up and grab his hat. And we're done with that. Now, the same idea, I'm going to use ivory to give his face a little bit of color, contrast to the white card. And then we will be done with the card. There we go. Now, for this envelope, let's just go ahead and do the happy retirement on it, right? And there's nothing that said it has to go straight across. Do you want to do it like this? Go like that. It's your card. Make it your way. Alright, so there's 2. 2 down, 2 to go. Now I'm going to do this little lady here next. Let me close up things I'm done with. So, here we go. Follow your bliss. Move those over there. Follow your bliss. So we're doing this one now. So this is one I'm using the Purple Posy as my color, but we don't have Purple Posy ink yet, right? So what did I do? I'm going to use Highland Heather as a coordinating complementary color. Okay, now on this one too, I'm going to stamp a background. I'm going to be using the Bouquet Dots. Okay, it's a very subtle background, and I'm going to be stamping that onto my paper here. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. Then I'm going to stamp it off lightly, and then I'm going to come over and I'm going to stamp my paper. Now, I know that my stamp is not big enough to cover the whole piece. See? I'll go ahead and ink it up again. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to stamp off again. And then I'm going to try and line up the edge of my stamp with the edge of where I hadn't stamped before. Okay? But look, it wasn't great. I didn't exactly line it up. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to hide it, right? So I'm going to take a piece of our Nature's Twine in this beautiful purple hue. Just going to cut enough of it like that. And what I did was I put a little snail on the back to help me get it tacked down, and I'm just going to run that right across where either my ink overlapped or where my ink missed just a little. And look, you can't tell at all. Then to secure that, I went ahead and added dimensionals over the top. Okay, and I'm going to add 2 more dimensionals up here. That's going to become the background on my card. Okay, so this time I left it as a 3x3 card, but I'm building on top. So there's my background piece. Alright, then I'm taking the Follow Your Bliss, and I'm stamping that on a 1-inch piece of scrap. Okay. And I'm going to use, here it is, my triple banner punch, okay, where I can get that V cut. And here's the thing, 1 inch fits right in there perfectly. Flip it over, slide it in, slide it down. Now, if you look very carefully, you can see I've got my stamped words right there. So once I push it through and I see where my words are, I pull the cardstock back and I punch. Okay, so now I've got my little tail for my card, but I didn't punch off my words. So this is just going to go on with some snail. So I'm just going to line this up over here, and then I'm going to take my paper snips, and I'm just going to come in behind. Remember, that's lifted up on dimensional, so I can get behind it and just snip right across, right? Paper crafting at its best. Use your tools. Now, I've already stamped her and I'm going to go ahead and color her. Now I'm going to be using blends for all of her. So first let's start with her hair. Again, I'm using that Pineapple Punch. I wanted something bright to go along with this purple posy. I'm using the Ivory for her skin. All right, she looks like she's in like a little yoga pose. So. Okay, I'm not worried about perfect coloring, but I'm trying. I'm going to coordinate the flower and her dress, and that's going to coordinate with the purple posy cardstock I used as the background. Okay, and then I'm just going to come in with my paper snips, and real quickly I'm going to free her, kind of like a cartoon character. Just come around her, trim her out. Don't have to worry about getting right up close to the image. You can leave a little buffer of white there. It's just going to make her pop off that background so much more. A little more here, trim her around. Go around her dainty little hand. And voila. Okay, so she's off. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add her with a couple of dimensionals as well. So one on the bottom, one on the top. And that's so that when she straddles this twine, I'll go one up and one down. Okay? Then on this one I also have that wishing you everything wonderful. So I'm going to give my stamp a quick cleaning so I don't transfer color. I'm going to stamp that in the Highland Heather on the inside. Okay, so there's my card, and then we're going to do that same thing on the envelope. All right, 3 down, 1 to go. Are you still with me? All right, 1 to go. So this time we're going to do this fun hole-in-one with the golfer. So, as you can see, I'm using a couple of greens. I'm going to use Garden Green on my card, and I'm using Pear Pizzazz as a secondary green. And what we're going to do is stamp the Ready for Hole-in-One on the background piece to give us a stamped background. So, as you can see, I have a piece of Garden Green. That's going to go on the front of our card, and then I have the one I'm going to stamp for the background. Okay, so let's do our stamping first, because if we mess it up, we can flip it over and try again. So I'm going to start with the darker green, the Garden Green, and I'm going to just stamp my expression, and then I'm going to come down and I'm going to move it over a little, come down and move it over a little, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do one more down there. Now I'm going to wash that off because I'm going to the lighter green now. So Pear Pizzazz. So now I'm just going to come in, and after that first one with the second color, I'm going to stamp again, then come back and do before where the gaps are. And just fill in that background with fun multicolors greens. Now let's go ahead and get all that adhered to our card. So let's start with our Garden Green. So this time I'm putting the 3x3 over the top of the Whisper White base card instead of cutting it down. So there's the front, and then I'm just going to put the stamped background piece centered on there. Okay. Now for our little golfer man, I'm going to stamp him with Memento. And I'm going to go ahead and color him. So I have my Garden Green ink. I'm going to do his little flag. going to do his pants. Alright, I'm going to put some green down here in this grass. Then I'm going to come in with the pair of pizzazz. I'm going to do his hat. And his shirt. I think maybe I'll leave his collar green, his collar white this time. Last time I colored it all green. Just so there's a little more contrast there. I'm going to use that ivory blend again to give his face a little bit of color. I'm going to leave his hair white, right? Cute little mustache there. Got one little hand there. And then again, we just got to trim him out with our paper snips. So I'm just going to come right around him like a cartoon character. Like I said, I'm not worried about getting right on his edges. I just want to trim him so that I can put him on my card as a fun embellishment. Come right around the flag. Around, and I'll just come across the bottom of his grass. Doesn't even have to be a straight line. And then we're just going to pop him up on a couple of dimensionals. Have fun. Oops, I missed one. Come back. Alright, 2 dimensionals. He's just going to go right here on the front. Ready for a hole-in-one. Now on him, I stamped "Congratulations on your next adventure" and "Happy Retirement." Let me show you how quick that is to put it onto one stamp so you can do it at the same time. So I've got "Congratulations," which I'm going to clean because I think I used a different color. Okay, so now when you take your clear amount label off your block, you got to get underneath the stamp and pull it all up together. If you get your finger in between, you're likely going to rip the label and the backing, and that's no good. So you got to make sure you get your fingertip or your paper piercing tool, something between the clear label and the block. Okay, so I got to pull between the clear label and the block. There we go. Alright, so now this is how I'm going to put it onto one thing. So I've got my grid paper here, right? See how I've got that? I've got my grid paper. Now I've lined up "Congratulations" there, and I'm going to line up "Happy Retirement" here, and then I can take my block and go right over the top. Alright, now it's all in line. Now I'm going to give it a test. Ink that up, stamp it once, make sure it really is square, and I'm happy with that. Then I can come over here, I can stamp that on the inside of my card, and I'm good. So there is that. Now, for his little envelope, let's go ahead and do the hole-in-one again, because that's just kind of cute. So I'm going to put that right up there, and we have done all 4 cards just like that on today's video. So I hope you enjoyed these quick and cute cards today. Now, if you're my VIP stampers, remember the Tuesday show and tell, you're going to have access to the tutorial next week when it comes out. So you can download it, save it, print it, have it for later use. If you're not part of my VIP on the show and tell, which is now every 2 weeks for my non-VIPs, the videos will be there, so you can see all the videos in one place, and then there'll be the link to the library where you can download the tutorial for a small fee. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed. This is a really cute set. I know all of us eventually have to do some retirement cards, and you know what? These little peoples on here, doesn't have to be for retirement, just for a happy vacation or a thank you. You know, you've got a golfer in your life, he's kind of cute. So don't look stamp sets for exactly what they were designed for, look at what else you can use them for as well. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial today. Have a great time with your own stamp projects, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.